Ma'am. Good morning. Took me are in for another episode of Quantum Heart. What we're doing today, if my mic is a little bit poppy, there is a little side. Try not to let it throw you off too much. Level 1 of the Quantum Heart, we learn how to tap into Quantum Heart. Level 2 of Quantum Heart, we learn it with which is chakra mirror 2, how to combine that energy with Jupiter and Saturn. Before we end up tapping into the astral, right? The quantum heart space, which is also we tap into this we're going to be using All right, thankfully I was watching out for this one. So as we are starting to tap into our quantum heart space, we're going to be using the neurocode and our Merkaba. So as you've noticed, all of this energy work has been heavily focused on our heart chakra. So as we're going to keep working with ourselves, we're going to start using the neurocode light of the ethers, which comes from our heart chakra, which is your gratitude and your love, right? So for me, it's godly harmony. Use that, tap into this present moment, tap into the quantum heart space in your quantum heart. Allow King Solomon's castle to summon itself around you. Feel the connection between yourself and Jupiter. An external Jupiter, an internal Jupiter. Chakra mirror 1, the Ankh of the heart. Radiating through yourself, through every cell, the environment. Allow yourself to let this energy radiate through the astral and through your astral body. Mimic everything you've just done with your astral body. Now let's tap into light of the ethers. And I want you to see the symbol of light of the ethers really big all around you. You're standing inside of the Star of David that we see in that symbol. Take a deep breath. You're going to turn that 2D symbol into a 3D symbol. So you're going to see a Merkaba being created out of light of the ethers. You're still going to have that pillar of light going down the center of light of the ethers. That pillar of light is going down the center of you and all of your chakras. You're radiating light of the ethers from your heart chakra. It is around you now as the Merkaba. The Merkaba has a pillar of light going through it, through you. The Merkaba is simultaneously getting fed the energy of the Ankh of the heart. Your body is stabilized at chakra mirror 1. The Merkaba is also being influenced by Jupiter. And since the ethers and the astrals are heavily connected, the Merkaba is manipulating the astral. You're going to feel all of that alchemy outside of yourself and inside of your heart chakra. As you feel this energy expand, you're going to tell your Merkaba that you want it to spin at the full speed of light. And you can give into it. Breathe out anything negative, anything dense. Don't try to control it. Turn it on like an app and fall into it. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Know that you are not manifesting with your Merkaba. The Merkaba is spinning maybe in 2 different directions for you. This is the movement in Atlantean alchemy, the divine feminine, the pillar of light going down the center of what we know to be light of the ethers that is running through the Merkaba, that is the male aspect of ourselves, linearly placed in this position. For this moment right here in our position and time, we're going to hold on to a particular vibration. Deep breath. Hold on to a manifest your gratitude and love, godly harmony, while you're letting your Merkaba move matter, and while you stay in this linear space, allow everything around you to fade away from the ethers, fade away from the astral, whatever is not your godly harmony or your gratitude love, right? Is not welcome in this space. Feel all that energy inside of your heart space. Feel your heart space outside of yourself. Understand that the ethers exist beyond the 3rd dimension, beyond matter. Therefore, your mind has to exist in the quantum heart beyond matter. If there are any distractions that come up, go ahead and breathe them out with your breath. Do not let them stop you from reaching the next level. Let go of any fear that you might be experiencing. Let go of any resistance of trying to understand how you're doing what you're doing right now. Your quantum heart space is a magnetizer. Your Merkaba manipulates manifestation and reality and creation and generation. That means there is no separation between the quantum heart and your Merkaba. There is no separation between your quantum heart and the ethers. There is no separation between quantum heart and light. There is no separation between quantum heart and other frequencies of reality that have manifested themselves within matter like Jupiter. There is no differentiation between your quantum heart space and everything that we are generating right now in a physical body known as the heart chakra and higher heart chakras. Give yourself completely to the sensation. If you're doing it outside like I am, you might have noticed that there's something happening outside of yourself. Deep breath. Choose not to manipulate the environment. Choose not to manipulate your body. And by doing so, you will then transcend time. Deep breath in and out. We're going to do that speedy breath that we did in one of our previous episodes. Ready? We're going to do it. Not a full breath in, not a full breath out. You're just going to have a continuous flow. Ready? Keep feeling this energy at your heart chakra, your higher heart chakra. If by now you haven't been feeling your higher heart, allow the energy from your heart chakra to go up into the higher heart. Push yourself more and more and more. Push yourself beyond your limits. Keep breathing faster and faster while you speed up with your breathing all that energy that's flowing through your Merkaba, the light of the ethers, the astral, what's helping you transcend time. If you want to take it to the next level, if you want to take it to the next level, you're going to do it with your eyes open while you're doing this breathing technique. If you notice that you're burping, you're hiccuping, in some cases people even fart, this is all negative energy that's leaving your system. Let the alchemy be your breath. As you breathe it in, remember you're monitoring your body, not letting the energy go anywhere other than your higher heart and heart chakra, but understand that you're also breathing in all the alchemy that we've been practicing in through this breath. If you really want to amplify your energy, smile while you're doing it. Find a natural, neutral smile. There's a fake smile and there's a real smile. Like at first you might have to fake smile, but then you have to ease yourself into the real smile. Set the intention that your Merkaba, the astros, and the ether are all going to vibrate at 1 billion times the speed of light. And you have to relax into it. Holding on to your gratitude and your love. Fusing all of this alchemy together into one cohesive experience. Give up your attachment to your existence on the third dimension. Let all this alchemy raise you above time, raise you above manifest. Deep breath in and out. Letting go of any negative energy. Let this all just radiate into your heart and higher heart. Let go of any definitions or logistics to anything that we've been doing or what it might do. None of it matters. Only this moment right here where we're sitting within our male and female aspects through light of the ethers, through our Merkaba, through the pillar of light. We're sitting here right now, understanding a greater truth. You're gonna feel 7 bars going through each chakra, right? So 1 bar per chakra. So some of the bars are gonna be running this way, sideways. Some of them are gonna be running this way. So there's gonna be 2 bars per chakra, 1 that way and 1 that way. You're gonna feel that across all 7 of your chakras. You're gonna feel an orb in the back of your back, very tiny. You're gonna let each one of these tubes come in through the master tube that we're using through the neurocodes, and they're gonna travel down, down, down into the back of where your sacral chakra is. And they're gonna fill in that orb. And as they fill in that orb is gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger until it's the full size of your body. This full orb is going to be encompassing not only you, but your Merkaba as well. This is an ancient Lemurian technique where we learn how to break time. And as you see, if you're standing outside, for me, as I break time, the sun shimmers a little bit more through the trees. The more I give into it without fighting, the more light ends up. The less I focus on it, the more it radiates. I can feel the environment around me. There's like an empty space in between this orb, and this orb around me is spitting a ton of wind. The orb that now encompasses your Merkaba is filled with all the alchemy that we've done previously, and it is connected directly to the quantum heart. We vibrate that past our houses, past our countries, past the globe, into the universe or the orb that holds everything that we know in this material world. for we are inside of a black hole. Deep breath. Let that expand and merge, and then let go of the reasoning of all the applications that we've placed. Most importantly, as you hold on to your gratitude and your love, while you break time through your normal understanding, while you break time through the Lemurian techniques, that gratitude and love should be you. You should direct it directly into your quantum heart space for yourself. Not anyone else, not anything else. Harmonize yourself, harmonize your reality, and everything else will follow. That's what Atlantean alchemy tells us. When we harness ourselves, movement happens in the manifest. So I give myself godly harmony. I'm not using anything in this world to define my godly harmony, because if I do, I'm limiting what I'm doing to the third dimension. I am not manifesting at this point, I am creating. And I am creating by simply being godly harmony. I am not only it, but I give it to myself. Whatever it is that there's a tension there, you have to talk yourself out of. For me, I feel this natural tension to say, do you deserve this godly harmony? Yes, I do. I've worked really hard for it. I've done a lot of really cool things, not only for myself, but for other people. I definitely have earned the right to give myself godly harmony. Inside of your quantum heart space lies the opportunity for a great treasure. That treasure can only be used when we recognize that that treasure is ours, for us. Many times we manifest for others, or we manifest for ourselves to experience, but we don't manifest for ourselves to simply exist as permanently. In any layer, in all layers, other than the third dimension. What good is treasure if you do not recognize its value? You are the treasure, you hold a treasure, everyone holds a treasure custom to them. In the quantum heart space, in the ethers, in the astrals, beyond time, through the help of our Merkaba and the knowledge of the ancestors from Atlantis, we understand the divine feminine, the divine masculine in this present moment. Deep breath. Let's do that breathing technique one more time. Ready? Letting our Merkabas merge with everything we've created, understanding that everything that we have created in alchemy is not the ultimate form. So the less we try to control it, the more we're going to experience it. Give yourself into the quantum heart space. Choose not to step away from the quantum heart space and everything that we've created. Understanding that we're not going to become attached to the alchemy that we've created, so that we can let it be fluid and continue to spin whenever it's necessary for a change. You're going to allow that to really program itself in your quantum heart and higher hearts. You're going to let this radiate through the now, through the past, through the future, through the illusion, through the dream, through the things that are unmanifested that I yet have to understand, to the things that I'll never understand, but are working for me. I let go of all necessity to control, for I am here in the present, in my manifestation, giving myself godly harmony, gratitude, and love. I own that. And I'm gonna lock that into my system so that manifest may follow. My creation has generated the manifest. You might have felt that when it locked in, something moved. I definitely did a shake because I felt something massive shift. And now I know that I'm locked in place. As I open my eyes, I see everything seems a little bit more lucid. The sun is definitely out and about blasting. I feel expansive. I kind of feel like I'm inside of a dream. Right? Inside of myself. I was meditating the other day and I was contemplating my adventures as a shaman and how I've done a lot of psychedelics and how when you do a lot, if you're somebody who can't control themselves and you do too many psychedelics, you stay in that state of psychedelica, right? You stay in that mental scape where you don't ever come back to this reality. And through kind of analyzing some of the people that I knew that hit that stage that, they never came back, they never landed back on Earth, I came to understand that, well, those people still had their lives fulfilled and their lives manifested around them to always be safe. Why is that? Well, that lucidity that we feel when you take ayahuasca or you take LSD or you do really advanced energy work, that lucidity is technically normal. And it's the human condition that has taught us to believe that when we're not in that lucid state, that we are closest to our sanity. It's a tricky road to walk down, because you can easily, if you don't know how to control yourself, you can easily fall into that deep end where you never come back. But even when you take psychedelics or you do advanced energy work where you feel like a psychedelic sensation, like even through holotropic breath work, it's really important to remember that like every sensation you've ever felt in your life is something that's recorded in your DNA. And you can bring that out whenever it's necessary if you can remember how to feel that again. So I've trained myself to really feel that lucidity of when I'm on ayahuasca, when I'm on LSD, so that I never like fully merge into this reality as a solid, and I'm always in the middle. There are days where I'm definitely more lucid than I am grounded, and there's days where I'm definitely more like into 3D than I am in the lucid, and I've mastered how to stay here a lot of the time. But I've noticed that like I prefer to be more in the lucid when I'm doing any of my energy work, and I want to stay in that lucidity even after my energy work, because then that means I'm more connected to the dream. And the shamans tell us that we are lucid dreamers that become creators when we understand that. So why not want to stay in that lucid state? It's difficult because sometimes you do step into that lucid state and you can't do anything earthly, but it should be your practice to like progressively try to master that in yourself and make it a perpetual, because once you're there, there's literally nothing you cannot do because you're perpetually lucid dreaming. So that's why the quantum heart is so powerful. And as you notice, like all we're doing is stacking Antojai alchemy on top of like this quantum understanding that our hearts are magnetic, right? The Hermetica tells us that everything is mind. We know that our thoughts are electric, yeah, and our thoughts are right now. Yesterday in a anti-quantum alchemy lecture, I talked about how I've come to understand that your thoughts are one-dimensional, right? When you generate a thought, it technically doesn't have a bias, and then that thought then gets polarized into positive or negative. That's second dimension, and then that materializes in the third dimension, the experience of that thought, right? It's good because thought is directly tied to matter if everything is mind, right? The ancient Egyptians really understood that. So then when you come to understand, okay, like if your thoughts get polarized and then they turn into matter, then your thoughts themselves, knowing through quantum science how our brain works, they're electric, right? Your thoughts are electric. We know that when we generate an emotion through our heart chakra, that's magnetic, right? So when we're in a quantum heart space and we're generating electric thoughts that are feeding our our generator, right? Because we know that we're generating from our creation on manifest through the quantum heart. So our thoughts are fueling the generator to expand the energy of the quantum heart so that we can experience and manifest. It's very powerful when you start thinking about like, okay, then like, what I'm actually trying to create and what I'm actually trying to create to like experience is not just this thing where I'm trying to bend physical matter, right? So you have to like, when you escalate your power inside of the quantum heart technique, you have to understand that like, you don't want to focus it strictly on your body, and you don't want to focus it strictly on the environment. You have to learn how to do that, but after you've noticed that like you're beyond matter, you literally have to start manifesting for a higher purpose, which is simply being in the now with this energy. Because then that's when you break time. As long as you're focusing your thoughts within matter, there is always going to be time incorporated, right? So a lot of times we have been taught that to manifest, we need to really dream it up. We need to really like hustle. We need to do this. We need to do that, right? And it's like this, we're trying to move matter. But like, if you change your focal point from saying like, you know, I want to be a millionaire, to that reality of me being a millionaire is already right here. I just have to accept it. I have to stop fighting the fact that I'm not a millionaire. The only reason why I'm not experiencing being a millionaire is because I'm fighting that reality that already exists in my reality. I'm not trying to manifest $1 million. I'm simply creating and generating that vibration of acceptance inside of myself, and then that's going to move reality to give me $1 million. Now, $1 million doesn't have to come to you through winning the lottery, right? It could come to you through an inheritance, or it could come to you through like a really, what would seem like a breakthrough and some sort of innovation, right? The more you're just like, hey, I'm a millionaire, and everything else has to follow that magnetism of that thought. Matter has to create itself around that. When you're doing the quantum heart, you're literally taking your thought and you're saying, hey, the polarity is not going to be negative mission, it's going to be positive purpose. And then woof, that is what's moving matter. So then as you escalate it and you combine it with things like the ethers from neurocodes, or the astral from Antojai 2, or the Merkaba, all these things are tied to manifestation, right? There are these programs that have been given to us from the ancients on how to manifest more quickly and efficiently. We've learned about them, right? Like, what good is the Merkaba if you're still somewhat abiding to time, right? Like, Jesus had this potential of doing instantaneous healing, miraculous healing, like miracles. And a lot of other ascended masters have been able to do that. Why? Because they did not recognize matter as like the ultimate thing in reality that someone should try to constantly grasp and manifest, right? The biggest illusion is the fact that like all you're ever trying to do is manifest something in matter. Like, you have to learn that that's a possibility. You have to learn that, the techniques of how to do that. But then even when you understand that, okay, you can manifest because this is not permanent, this is not as solid as it seems, you didn't have to give up on the fact that you're trying to manifest something, because that's you still seeing the situation from the same level of perspective that is creating it, right? And then as I've worked more and more with the quantum heart and like with myself and like the deities that have been coming through, I've been really understanding that the less you want something, and we've heard this, the faster it comes to you. But really, what does that mean? That means like I don't need anything. And just a couple months ago during quarantine, I literally had this thought where I was just like, wow, I'm so grateful. And I would wake up and I'm like, I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I'm grateful that I literally do not need anything. I'm so blessed right now. And I was just like, I don't think I've ever felt that way in my life, where I could literally say that I don't need anything. And then as I've been reviewing some esoteric texts lately, that's what it talks about. God doesn't need the manifest. God doesn't need anything, because God has everything at his fingertips. So why would God ever need anything? And it talks about, like, if you read the Book of Light or the Sefer Ba'ir, that's what it's called. It talks about, like, how can you influence God if there's nothing that you can use to make God jealous? How can you influence God if there's nothing you have that God doesn't already possess in his own nature and his own reality? What could you ever generate or manifest for God as a trade that would deem God in a position necessary to make that trade with you, right? Like, there would never come that moment, because God would have literally everything he ever needed, ever. So then to recognize that in every moment, like, I don't need anything, like, this is godly. And when you're feeling like, man, I don't need anything, like, I got all my bills paid, I have money saved up, I'm helping people, I feel satisfied, I feel awake, like, you start stepping more and more into this phase of ascension where you're literally in one place, right? Where Atlantean alchemy tells us, like, linear. If you see that in the neurocode, you see that line coming down the center, that is linear masculine. And then when we think about the manifest and the movement, that's the divine feminine. So the moment I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't need anything. Wow, I feel so harmonious. I'm grateful, right? My love is knowing that I'm godly, right? Like that's why I feel love, that vibration of love, when I feel godliness. So then I've come to understand, wow, when I don't need anything, this is heaven, this is godliness. I'm so grateful for this harmony. It's like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm gonna like magnetize that into my heart space. That becomes literally my reality, and it forces things to happen to the point where like I now am waking up to manifestations being completed in my sleep. Like I will go to sleep thinking about something, and like by the time I'm awake, it's been taken care of. Like I've even had these experiences where I have this fear, and I've noticed that like I've reverse engineered my fear. One of my fears is that there's sometimes I wake up and I feel like anxiety, right? And then something can easily like throw me off, right? Because that's an old version of me. And I've noticed that like when I've practiced like this heart alchemy, that I programmed myself that now if I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling that anxiety, like, oh my God, oh my God, like I'm feeling that vibration, and my brain, which would normally say something negative is about to happen, it clicks and says, no, something amazing is about to happen. And within like 5-10 minutes, I literally see a manifest take place. Like whether it's somebody schedules an appointment or like somebody sends me a message, like I've subconsciously trained myself now to like, the only one thing that I'm really afraid of is embracing the full possibility that my life can perpetually be easy and happy. Like that's the last barrier that I've been noticing really exists inside of me for my manifest, is just like, oh, it really is this easy. I can just fall into it, So that's kind of like one of the tricks that I wanted to like give you when you're applying this with yourself. Is just going to help you really expand this technique. I'm sending you all of my love. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, comment, share, and give this a like. I will see you in our next episode.